ends now.
Right now on KREM 2 News at noon, the Moscow murderers hearing is happening right now. And today the judge could decide whether to delay the start of the trial. We'll have more.
Well, the skies are blue and the temperatures are warm, but the higher winds today are increasing the fire danger conditions, especially for parts of the state.
And speaking of those wildfires, we are tracking them throughout the Northwest right now. A fire near Lake Chelan is doubling in size, and we have updates about yesterday's fire we brought you as breaking news on Cheney Spokane Road. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti, and we begin with breaking news this afternoon. All lanes of Highway 395 are blocked right now south of Deer Park because of a crash. This is in the area of Denison Chatteray Road. According to Washington State Patrol, 2 cars crashed head-on. We don't have any information right now about any potential injuries. WashDOT, however, does say the closure is expected to last for several hours. There is a detour in place that we want to let you know via North Road. You can see it here on your screen. Still, if you can, you should avoid that area, as of course they have emergency vehicles working that scene right now. We'll keep you updated as we learn more, and we'll put that on our website, krem.com. And happening right now, we are tracking updates from court in the Moscow murders trial. A judge is hearing arguments on 2 major issues that need to be resolved before the trial can begin later this summer. Today's hearing just got underway about 30 minutes ago, and we are taking a live look at the courtroom in Ada County. Lawyers are arguing for and against postponing Brian Kohberger's upcoming trial, as well as discussing a key defense strategy of another suspect. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has a closer look at the arguments and what we expect to happen throughout the afternoon.
Well, Kohberger's motion to delay his trial is open to the public today. That second hearing is a closed hearing and will be arguments over his attorney's allegations of alternate perpetrators. As for that motion to delay, Kohberger's defense pushed for this back on May 20th, citing they want more time to prepare given the large amounts of attention this case has received, arguing a pushed back trial would help with the prejudicial pretrial publicity. His team also states the current date would violate Kohberger's constitutional rights, adding death penalty cases require extraordinary measures and heightened scrutiny. The defense also pointed to the recent Dateline episode, calling the coverage highly inflammatory and believe it'll get in the way of Kohberger's right to a fair trial. Latah County prosecutors argue the defense has had plenty of time and resources to prepare, and postponing the trial is unwarranted and harmful to the victim's rights to a timely resolution and justice. Judge Stephen Hippler will also hear arguments over the defense's alternate perps theory. They argue the state received thousands of tips regarding possible perpetrators during the course of the investigation, but focused solely on Kohberger. The state says any attempt to offer or argue an alternate perp without evidence would do nothing more than mislead and confuse the jury and would, quote, be a waste of time. So with these hearings today, if any new information comes from these two, we'll keep you updated across all KREM 2 platforms. For now, in the newsroom, I'm Brandon T. Jones.
And if you do want to watch today's hearing, you can watch it live right now. We have it on KREM 2 Plus. KREM 2 Plus is free to download and watch on your TV. Really easy. We have it all right there. All right, let's turn our attention now to a look at weather. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is tracking some high fire danger this afternoon. Thomas, always a concern when we have winds during this time of year.
Yeah, it always feels a bit like a double-edged sword, because if you just go outside and the wind doesn't bother you, it's an absolutely beautiful summer-like day. But those winds are the priority when it comes to heightened fire danger through the summer season, so you want to take it, of course, quite seriously. There's your current sustained wind speed at 14 miles per hour. That's starting to feel a little bit gusty, and at times the gusts themselves can get above 20 miles per hour. So very similar to yesterday, not maybe just a little bit stronger overall. With that being said, the area that's going to get the strongest winds our central Washington from Douglas and Grant County primarily here. Wind speeds up to 35 miles per hour. Again, decently serious on a dry and windy day like today. That pushes the bracket into the critical fire danger conditions, hence the red flag warnings for that region, as well as this Highway 12 corridor over southeastern Washington, south of the Palouse. So temperatures are quite warm out here today, should get up into the 80s. Big temperature difference between the west side and the east side, big pressure difference as well. That's actually helping to kind of squeeze the winds through the mountains and the mountain gaps to the Cascades, and that's why central Washington will end up with a decently windy day overall. That's one of our big weather headlines. The other is the big cool down for this weekend. You see the high temperatures here, but I'll show you what those rain chances will look like. That in our extended forecast, but obviously still keeping an eye on the breezy conditions that we're currently experiencing today.
Right, you can hear that wind as he is talking outside here on KREM 2's outdoor studio. A wildfire burning west of Lake Chelan has nearly doubled in size. Lightning sparked the Pomus fire on Friday in the Chelan Mountains. It's burned nearly 800 acres, and that's up from 400 about this time yesterday. Crews are using an air tanker to scoop water out of Lake Chelan to pour on the flames. Luckily, there are no homes nearby, but a portion of the Glacier Peak wilderness is now shut down. And yesterday, we brought you breaking coverage of the wildfire on Cheney Spokane Road. Firefighters say the fire burned about 2 acres of a six-acre property, and it destroyed an outbuilding. The fire is now contained. The Spokane Fire Department thinks someone started the fire intentionally. It's just one of many suspicious fires in that very same area over the last few weeks. Firefighters were there just last week putting out 2 other suspicious fires. The American Red Cross says people living in the area with wildfire risk should sign up for free emergency alerts from local first responder agencies. Also have a plan in place in case of any evacuations, and keep personal, financial, and medical records as safe as possible. The Spokane County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved more funds to help the opioid crisis in Spokane. $400,000 of the opioid settlement funds will go to services here in Spokane. The goal is to help expand access to more immediate treatment services. The county commissioners say, quote, this expansion effectively doubles the capacity of the treatment center as another step forward in tackling the opioid epidemic. The new funding brings the annual operation total to $600,000 total. And this news comes as the state of Washington is set to receive over $100 million in the next few years as part of the latest opioid settlement. The money will come from a new $7.4 billion agreement to settle thousands of lawsuits against bankrupt drug maker Purdue Pharma, the producer of the painkiller OxyContin. The state is required to use the money to fund programs that combat the opioid crisis. The conflict between Israel and Iran has entered its 6th day today, and President Trump is calling for Iran's unconditional surrender. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei rejected the proposal. President Trump is considering joining Israel in striking Iran's nuclear facilities.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble.
Sources told CBS News at the White House that Israel did not request the U.S. to join its military effort, leaving that choice to President Trump. Again, the Supreme Leader Khamenei has threatened that any military involvement by the U.S. would cause, quote, irreparable damage. President Trump said, quote, next week will be big, maybe less than a week, and then gave no further explanation about what that means. Yesterday, the Pentagon sent warplanes and an aircraft carrier to the Middle East. According to a defense official, this move was defensive and was made with protecting American troops stationed in that area. With that in mind, U.S. forces based in Washington state are on the leading front of the conflict. The USS Nimitz aircraft carrier has deployed in that direction, and that carrier is based in Bremerton. The USS Gridley, based in Everett, is also headed that way, and at this point the ships are not directly involved in the conflict, but will be in position if needed.